Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/entitled People Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Karen neighbor stole my mail. I got it back from her. After that, didn't go above and beyond. I'll delete everything I've done. And after that, am I the jerk for evicting a family so I can move in? Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen gets evicted. Does that mean I won't have to sit here staring at your creepy face anymore? So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. Karen neighbor stole my mail. I got it back from her. I recently ordered a mini Keurig coffee maker because I'm moving and would like one for my apartment. I could not afford one when I first moved, but I have more money now, so it was something I really wanted to get. I came home from work yesterday and expected to see my Keurig, but it looked like it was not there. I looked at my security camera and found that someone, who I don't recognize, took my Keurig from my front porch. I filed a report with the Postal Service, but I haven't heard anything back yet. I have a friend in my neighborhood, and she was hanging out with our neighbor, and she noticed that my Keurig was at my neighbor's apartment. She asked my neighbor if she could deliver it to me, and my neighbor said no, because it was delivered to her, so therefore it was fair game. This was a lie, and I told my friend that it was not delivered to her, rather it was stolen. I was upset, and I went over there to try to get it back, but she tried to make me pay for it. I threatened to call the police because that's really the only line of defense I knew how to do, and she ended up giving it back. Now, however, she's not speaking to me, and my family thinks that I overreacted. I think it was a bit extreme to threaten to call the police, but mail theft is very serious, and the Keurig was something that I was really looking forward to. I know I shouldn't care if I look bad, but my family's reactions make me think that I was in the wrong. Am I the jerk? Edit. Thank you all for your nice comments. I honestly wasn't sure if I was overreacting, but I've realized that I was not. I will be filing a police report tomorrow, and I'm going to let people know that our neighbor is a thief. Hopefully it makes a difference, and even if not, I'm sure that doing this is the right thing. Also, I decided to open my Keurig, and I love it. I'm very glad I got it back. Not the jerk, but she's a terrible thief to steal and not get rid of the box with your name on it ASAP. OP. I totally agree. That's probably the first thing you get rid of if you're going to take something. The Keurig was still in the box on her kitchen counter. Not the jerk. She stole from you. That's the only point that matters. Why wouldn't you call the police? Especially since you have evidence that she took it. Don't know what your family's thinking saying that you overreacted. She stole and refused to give it back. Therefore, you'd be completely fair to call the police. OP. I just don't know if it's worth my time because I'm moving. I think it might still be a good idea though, only because she could do it again. Well, what would you do in this situation? Would you call the police on your neighbor or not? Please let us know. Pro tip, never forget to throw away the box. Didn't go above and beyond? I'll delete everything that I've done. The original owner of the business I worked for was amazing. I'll call him Larry. He cared about every employee and realized how much we helped the company with our respective positions. He had even let me go negative on my sick time once when I was hospitalized for a week following a double pulmonary embolism with the agreement that I would work the time back, and I did. Just painting a picture of how wonderful Larry was as our boss. Larry finally retired after 45 years of running the business and sold it to his son, who I'll call Eric. Most people know how bad an idea that is, but Larry thought his son could handle it. He couldn't at first, but that's another story. Eric thought I wasn't doing enough during working hours, office job, dealing with inventory coming into the retail store. But what he failed to realize was that since I worked up there for 6 years and got familiar with the work, I was really efficient at the job. So much so that I had collected more responsibilities each year. Larry was one of the main people pushing for me to take on more each year, with immediate raises every time something was added. Eric didn't have the same mentality. Eric fired me for being inactive for too long during the day, and another reason which isn't important here. Also another story for another time. So I was really active for my last 3 days with deleting everything I had created for the company. It was all above and beyond work, so since I didn't ever go above and beyond, they didn't deserve to keep it. It was signs for products, pictures gathered for advertising, vendor contact information, a program I designed to keep organized and on time for invoices, and a manual I had typed up on how to do my job. They had an old version of my job instructions, but by that time, they were practically obsolete, especially with all my extra duties collected over the years. In the 2 years I've been gone, they've had at least 8 people hired for my position who quit within a couple months. I keep getting updates every few months from one of my friends at the office. Edit to address some questions and concerns. I did these things off the clock, on my own computer, except for some advertising images that were for past promotions and no longer valid. I never had to sign anything saying my intellectual property became theirs. Neither the job description nor handbook had anything about intellectual property either. I'm curious if Larry had any idea how his son was running the company, how he was treating you, or what his opinion was after you had been fired. OP. As far as I'm aware, dozens of employees emailed Larry about concerns about Eric's leadership, actually lack thereof, within 6 months of him taking over. Larry chewed him out, but the effect only lasted a few months. It happened at least 3 times in less than 2 years. Something finally registered and Eric was more present, but still not actually running the business. Am I the jerk for evicting a family so I can move in? My life is kind of in upheaval right now, so I really don't know if I'm the jerk in this situation or not. TA, because my brother is on Reddit. So, background. 6 weeks ago, I, 27, female, found out that my husband, who's 30, has been cheating on me for the past 5 years with a few different women. I immediately moved myself and our kids, who are 7, 5, and 5, to my parents' house, where my brother, who's 22, also lives. Being only a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, it's very cramped, but my parents insisted that I leave my husband. I've only worked part-time for extra cash since the twins started preschool 2 years ago, and was a stay-at-home mom for 5 years before that. My husband owned our house and controlled our finances. I've realized in all of this that I own almost nothing, have almost no work experience, and only have a general studies associate degree. Had to cut college short because I got pregnant. Suffice to say that I'm freaking out about how I'm going to provide for my kids going forward, because I do plan on divorcing. Which brings us to this post. On top of everything, my grandma passed 2 weeks ago. She was very private with her finances, and while we knew she and my late grandpa made money from renting houses, she told my mom a few years ago that she had sold all her rental properties. Come to find out that she kept 2, and in her will left 1 to me and 1 to my brother, only grandkids. The one my brother inherited has been vacant for a bit, but the one I received is a 4-bedroom, 1.5 bath, with a family of 6 that live there, a single mom and 5 kids. She's a friend of a friend, so I do know that her husband passed in 2020 from you-know-what. As much as I obviously miss my grandma, the house is an absolute godsend, and I started crying when I found out about it. I told to my brother and his girlfriend, who's 20, how me and the kids can finally get our life back on track a bit. His girlfriend got really cold and asked if I was really going to evict a family when I could just live with my parents until I get on my feet, especially since my brother is now going to move into his inherited house and make more room. And my brother agreed with her, saying it was selfish. My parents said it's my house and I can do what I want, but they see his point, and that the family living there could easily be in the same situation as me. It's been such an emotional few weeks, so I don't know if I'm being a selfish jerk or not. Edit. This has only been up for a little bit, but thank you so much for the advice and comments so far. It's been such a whirlwind that I forgot that I just need to stop and breathe sometimes. Thanks, anxiety. She's on a month-to-month lease for a little under market rent. I was so focused on the fact that I now own something other than my 15-year-old vehicle that I didn't even consider staying at my parents' for a bit after my brother moves out. I recently started a more full-time position, and my kids love their grandparents, so this makes the most sense while I tackle all the legal stuff that's coming my way. I'll talk to my parents tonight about this route, which would alleviate a ton of guilt I was already feeling about the possibility of eviction. Thanks for snapping me out of my own head for a bit. Not the jerk. Your brother and sister-in-law are guilt-tripping you. Also, the house your cheating husband thinks he owns is half yours. Make him sell or refinance and give you the money. Plus, go for alimony and child support. Do all of this while staying at your parents and collecting the rent from the home your grandma left you. Now you have cash, an income, and then buy another rental home and start building a rental empire. Good luck. Depending on state laws, OP's house may also be half his. OP needs the advice of a good lawyer pronto. Honestly, stay with the parents and charge the renters market-priced rent. You can use that money to assist you further. Moving into a house with zero income is going to see you lose that house and having to move back in with your parents anyway. Well, what would you do in this situation? Would you evict the family and move into the house or not? Please let us know. When you expect a 5-star hotel paying for a 2-star inn, one evening working at the inn next to a main road in a popular tourist city of the Costa Bravo region of Spain, Like every morning, I was typing in the remaining customer data before submitting it to the authorities. We were fully booked, but one room hasn't shown up yet. 30 minutes before we close our check-in, a brand new Mercedes pulls up into our small parking lot. I can see from the inside emerges an older lady in her 60s. She enters the building without any baggage and heads towards me. I need to clarify that by that time, I'm the only worker in the whole building, and this conversation starts. Me. Welcome to the old lady. Where is the porter? Me. Unfortunately, we don't have that service in our inn. Old lady. What do you mean you don't have that service? All the hotels I was at before had it. Me. Well, we're a small roadside inn. We can't offer you any luxuries, but we do have one of the best kitchens in the city. Karen. Oh, I don't care about that. Who is going to carry my suitcase for me? Me. It will most probably have to be you, ma'am. Do you have a reservation? Trying to speed up the process before the system locks. Karen. What kind of hotel doesn't have a porter? Yes, I do have a reservation. Me. Under which name? Old lady. Great. I can see that you paid it through our partner website. All I'll need is your passport or ID to finish the check-in process. She hands me her ID. I don't understand how you can have such a poor service. Me. We do what we can with what we have, ma'am. I return her ID with the key to her room. Here's your key. Room 102, first floor, second door on the right. Karen, disgusted. What is this? Pointing to the key I laid on the desk in front of her. Me, confused. The key to your room. Old lady. Where is the card? Me. What card? The card to open my room. Oh no, we don't have electronic locks. You need to use this key to access your room. What? First you tell me that you don't have a porter, and now that I need to use a key for the room? What kind of hotel are you? Me. We're the 2-star roadside inn you booked your stay at, ma'am. Karen, as she grabs her key and goes to her car for her suitcase. Unbelievable. I go back to type in all the remaining data. I can see she comes back with her small suitcase. Yes, she needed a porter for a small suitcase, the size one uses for an onboard baggage on flights, and marches towards the stairs. 1 hour later, as I'm in the middle of closing the restaurant, the front desk of the inn was the counter of the bar too. I can hear behind my back. Ahem. Excuse me. Me. Yes? What can I help you with this time, ma'am? I can't find the hairdryer. Me. Unfortunately, I can't help you finding your hairdryer, ma'am. No. I mean, I can't find the hairdryer in the bathroom, the one you provide for me to use. Me. We don't provide individual hairdryers in our rooms. If you didn't bring your own, ma'am, I'm sorry to inform you that there's no hairdryer for you to use. What? How am I supposed to dry my hair? Every hotel provides a hairdryer. How do you people stay open if you don't know how to serve your customers? Me. Ma'am, if you're not happy with our service, you're more than welcome to bring your complaint to our manager tomorrow morning during your checkout. Oh, you can be sure I will. As she turns around and storms back to her room, I add, have a great night, ma'am. This lady paid 30 euros for her room at a roadside inn and expected a 5-star hotel experience. I found a baby. No, I really did. So it all started when I decided to do a property walk at 2 a.m. I was working audit that terrible night. I am a good soul, I think, and I go outside to check on cars to make sure nothing bad happened or anything like that. I notice a white sedan that had its engine on. Okay, no worries. Maybe some guest that is coming right back. I continue my little walk. I go to the hotel next door, dual property, and chat with the auditor over there. I head back to my hotel and notice the white sedan is still running. I shine my flashlight in the vehicle. I stand there, stone cold, as the head twitches in the back seat. Twitch again. Twitch. Now my heart is racing. Who the heck would have Annabella in the back seat? Wait, no, it's not a cursed doll. The thing is breathing. I yank out my phone and I call 911 immediately. 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, there's a baby in a car and I'm not sure where the parents are. Is the car on? Yes. Did you try to break into the vehicle? No, not yet. Okay, just stand near it and I'll send medics. What's your address? Sure, here's the address. Great. Like I said, just stand near the vehicle and emergency units have already been dispatched and are currently en route. Thank you, ma'am. I hang up. By this time, my hands are sweaty. I need to go to the bathroom. No, Ryan. You have to stand here and watch. I pace back and forth in front of the sedan as I hear the sirens approaching. Thank goodness they're close. A police car races up to me, followed by an ambulance, then a fire truck. As the police officer breaks into the car, more and more police show up. Okay, so now we have 7 cop cars, 2 ambulances, 3 fire trucks, for 1 baby? Sure, I don't make the rules. After the baby is safely retrieved from the vehicle, we try to go on our security tapes, but thanks to our wonderful management company, they barely work. Also 480p. Fast forward a few weeks. An officer that I recognize walks into the lobby of the hotel. She catches me up to speed on the case. So apparently, they found the baby daddy next door to our hotel with a lady. How lovely. And to make things worse, or better, the mom didn't know the baby daddy took the baby 40 minutes away to a hotel. We love good families. End of story. Good day. I hope that guy loses his parental rights. Am I the jerk for getting mad when my soon-to-be husband wants to change our honeymoon to family vacation? My boyfriend, who's 33, and I, who am 22, will get married in 4 months. We're planning our wedding ourselves and discussed everything, including our honeymoon. At first, a few months ago, he said he wants to change our honeymoon to a family vacation so his parents and my mom can get along and know each other more. I agreed, so we're researching where to go and for how long. But a few weeks after that, he said he didn't want to bring his family because his relationship with them is kind of rough. I agreed again and started researching again. Honeymoon plans for just the 2 of us. Everything went fine until a few days ago I was shopping with my soon-to-be mother-in-law, and on the ride home, my boyfriend asked her if she wants to join in our honeymoon. I was shocked and mad, but I stay silent. After we dropped her off, I asked him, what if my mom doesn't want to go with us? My mom really said she didn't want to. He said it's okay and we can just go with his family. It really bothered me, but because we have a plan to meet his friend afterwards, I just kept it to myself not to ruin the mood. After I went home, I texted him and said that I'm mad about the sudden change. I rant a bit, as usual, every time I'm angry. Then he gets mad as well because he thinks I'm making a big deal of something that's not important. In the end, we both get mad and give each other the silent treatment until now. I'm not mad because he changed the plan. I'm mad because he didn't talk to me first before asking his mom. I still think I have the right to get mad, but also I feel guilty for making a fuss about something small. So, am I the jerk? Update. Hi everyone. I don't expect this to blow up, and I have so many comments. Thank you for your concern and advice. I appreciate it so much. And I'm sorry I can't read and reply to everyone. For everyone who's asking, I met my boyfriend when I was already 20. So no, I'm not being mistreated, but thank you for your concern. For everyone who reminded me what he's doing is a red flag, yes, I know it sounds so bad, but I think everyone on relationships knows that there's lots of crap that if you tell everyone just from your perspective, it will sound really bad. It's just one of many things on our relationship, I guess. He's not perfect, and so am I. I also know my relationship isn't perfect nor ideal, but we love each other, and we will keep working on from there. Now I know I'm not the jerk for getting mad, so I'll talk to him again with more confidence, and I hope we can make up and do better. Once again, thank you for all the kind and not so kind advice. Wishing you all a really nice day. Not the jerk, but do not marry this man. You're too young and the age gap is too big. Worse than that though, he does not respect you and would happily put his family's desires above yours, even in the content of a wedding, which should be entirely about the 2 of you. If he will do this now, what else might he deprioritize you in? Think about this carefully. Not the jerk. I would be more mad about him constantly changing the plan and not consulting you. It's just so annoying, and if I'm being honest, a bit of a red flag. He's forcing you into situations that you don't want to be in, taking advantage of the fact that you can't make a scene in public. Well, if you don't like it, you can quit. Okay, sure. The state I live in had just done away with their mask rule about a month or so prior. I was working in a small cafe, having quit my full-time job in January of 2021 in order to limit my exposure to getting sick. The owner of this cafe didn't actually care about it. She was an empty nester stay-at-home mom with a rich husband who decided she wanted to put small business owner in her Facebook bio. So us 5 baristas were the ones actually running the cafe. I was naively sucking up in the hopes that I could put general manager as my job title on my resume, so in future job interviews they wouldn't awkwardly ask why I went from a full-time manager in charge of ordering supplies to a part-time barista in a dinky tourist cafe. I was putting in a lot of work for $9 an hour. I was purchasing supplies and doing inventory on my own dime and my own time, and then submitting receipts for reimbursement. I was categorized as part-time, but pulling full-time hours, and could regularly be found on my days off, talking with my coworkers, and likely making a few drinks when it was more convenient for me to be doing the work. And the craziest part is, I wasn't unique in the work I was putting into this place. None of us were working there for the money, because the money was crap. This was a blank slate of a cafe that we were given the freedom to turn into whatever we wanted, and we were all passionate about making it the space we wanted it to be. My boss got to say she was a small business owner and put an apron on to pose for Instagram selfies once a month when she actually worked there, and we got to develop a great atmosphere with cool customers and a great staff. But back to lockdown, that's where this story really begins. 3 of our 5 baristas got sick all at the same time, and us being homebodies, we would have only gotten it from the cafe. The 5 of us who actually worked there jumped on a text group chat that included my boss to discuss what likely happened and what we wanted to do going forward. All of us wore masks, but since our county's health department hadn't made it mandatory yet, we hadn't been throwing too much of a fuss when people came in without them. We just rolled our eyes and made their drinks. In the text group chat, the 5 of us agreed that under these circumstances, we should impose the mask rule on our own, regardless of the county's stance. But the owner was adamantly against it. She had every reason under the sun why she wouldn't allow us to impose our own rule. She said since the county didn't have one, we shouldn't either. We totes shouldn't have gotten sick from the cafe because one of the 3 who caught it had only worked 2 days the week the others did, etc. I was really frustrated by this because it feels like it's easy for someone to make decisions about other people's health when they don't actually spend any time whatsoever in that environment. Plus, her motivations were perfectly transparent. She had an obsession with our reviews on Google, and in the state of Utah, if a business requires people to wear them, the business suddenly gets quite a few 1-star reviews. I would have preferred to talk to her in person, but since my boss never spent any time in the cafe, I instead sent her a text outside of the group chat expressing my concerns. I felt I was very professional and assertive, saying, "Hi owner, I would really like to encourage you to rethink your stance on this within the store, at least for the potential duration that any of us might be sick, both for our safety and for the safety of our customers." And she responded with the absolute most passive-aggressive text I think I've ever seen. I'll go ahead and type out a few spicy portions of the long text she sent in reply. Owner, if another person gets sick, I will be closing the cafe without knowing for how long. If you do not feel comfortable at the cafe or are worried about your health, I understand if you do not want to continue to work at the cafe. As of now, it is still a choice for guests to wear them. Basically, forget you. If you don't like it, you can quit. I was annoyed. I didn't send anything in response. Instead, I updated my resume on my phone and started to apply to other jobs. I got a few interviews and very quickly landed a job. This was at the height of signs and windows saying, "Please work for us." And right before I was going to give my boss 2 weeks' notice, for the sake of my coworkers, not for her, the county imposed a new rule, and she texted the group chat something like, "Guests are required to wear them now. Yay!" As if that was the only thing keeping us from enforcing it. So that's when I officially quit. I think it really caught her off guard that I called her bluff like that, and as soon as I walked out the door for the last time as an employee, she was scrambling to pull things back together since my coworkers were not about to make things easy and pick up the work I dropped for her. She was so disgruntled by my quitting that she went so far as to change all the locks on the store and change all of the computer passwords, as if I was going to sneak in the middle of the night and steal from her. She really showed her true colors. 2 of my former coworkers are currently looking for other jobs, and it sounds like my former boss has really started to lose it now that she has to do work for the cafe. It's not fun to work there anymore, and getting my boss up to speed on how to work inside the cafe she owns is like teaching a high schooler whose mom made them get a summer job. Am I the jerk for not letting my friends' kids have any of the treats in my house? I'll try to make this short and sweet. I have 4 kids who are ages 4, 6, 8, and 10. Each kid has their own little snack box in the pantry. It's basically a cardboard box with their name on it that they've decorated how they like. Whenever we buy snacks of any kind, aside from healthy things like nuts or fruits or veggies, etc., we'll put an equal amount in each of the kids' snack box. Otherwise, the box would be emptied in a few days, and because they would all come to eat some, and one kid would end up eating much more than another, or someone just wouldn't get any. We figured this way they all get equal amounts and can learn how to regulate on their own how much they eat and how long it lasts. It has led to some interesting trades between them, trading snacks for snacks or chores for snacks, etc. Thankfully, we haven't had much trouble with them stealing from each other. So we have a few good friends who come over a lot. Between them, they have 3 kids that come over with them and play with our kids, ages 3, 8, and 12. Last week they came over, and the 3-year-old wanted a snack cake that was in my 8-year-old snack box. Every one of my other kids have already eaten their cakes, and my 8-year-old had 2 left. They each started with 3. The 3-year-old asked for one, and my 8-year-old said no. She didn't want to share because they were her favorite and she was saving them for later. 3-year-old threw a tantrum, and friend's spouse was upset I wouldn't make my kid share. I said they were her snacks and she didn't have to share if she didn't want to. Friend's spouse said that it wasn't fair I had snack cakes where a toddler could see them and tell her that she couldn't have one, and that my snack box system is going to cause my kids to have a bad relationship with food or cause hoarding problems or something like that in the future, that they need to learn to share. I said they do know how to share, I just don't make them share food, and that the 3-year-old can have anything else in the house, just nothing from their snack boxes. She said that all the good stuff was in the snack boxes, and if I was going to do this, I should leave some out for when the other kids come over so they can have some too. Am I the jerk for not making my kid share her snacks, even if it really upset my friend's kid? Not the jerk. I cannot fathom taking my kids to a friend's house and arguing like this, let alone suggesting that their kids are going to have a bad relationship with food or cause hoarding just because my kid didn't get a Little Debbie snack and threw a tantrum. Next time they pull this, you need to teach your kids how to share, point out that they need to teach their kids the meaning of no. 100% agree with this. Not the jerk. These parents are being completely unreasonable. I can't believe grown adults are behaving this way. Also, they have absolutely no right to be telling you that your parenting practices are going to lead to them having a bad relationship with food, etc. I wish my mom would have done something like that for me because it may have helped me not to have a bad relationship with food. You're the jerk. Maybe it's a regional or a cultural thing. As a Southern American, I cannot imagine inviting someone to my home and making any food off limits. That just boggles my mind that someone is this inhospitable. Right? My mind is so boggled too. When I went to friends' houses, they always fed and gave me snacks and vice versa. This comment section is weird. I feel like, over the past few years, people have taken "you don't owe anyone anything" a bit too far. Whether it's interpersonal relationships or in stuff like this, it's just seeped way too deep into people's decision-making, in my opinion. Like, sure, you don't, but you should also be ready for the consequences, such as your friends thinking you're kind of a jerky friend. We now conflate boundaries with selfishness and self-centeredness. Hint, you can be gracious and generous and have boundaries, really. Yes, I think it's important we have terms like boundaries, gaslighting, mistreatment, self-care, etc., because those concepts are useful, but people can really run wild with them. Like the other day when people were arguing it was fine for a man to go no contact with his kid, in other words, abandon her, because she had been mistreating him between the ages of 11 and 14, aka she had learned he had cheated on her mom and was being upset about it. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her friend? Please let us know. Maybe we need some extra snacks for when friends come over. Am I the jerk for ordering delivery food when I only live a few blocks away from the restaurant? There's a local burger joint that my family and I love. It's about 10 blocks away from our house, and they do both delivery and pickup. I'm a full-time student and stay-at-home mom to a toddler who's 1.5, while my husband works full-time. I had a big exam and a couple of lab practicals due today and was too tired to cook dinner, so I decided to order a couple burgers and fries from the local joint. It was already dark out, really cold, and I didn't feel like trying to wrangle my kid into the snowsuit or the stroller to walk over there as we don't have a car. So I ordered delivery on their website for an additional fee. This wasn't a delivery service like DoorDash or Uber Eats. The restaurant uses its own online platform and hires its own drivers to deliver food. I paid online and left a 20% tip. About 30 minutes later, I get a notification the delivery driver was at my building, so I went downstairs to pick up my food. When I got to the door, the delivery person was very rude and told me that next time I should get off my butt and go pick up my own darn food, and that she doesn't get paid enough to deliver food less than a mile. I just grabbed my food and didn't say a word to her and headed back to the elevator. I heard a pound on the locked door as I walked away and turned around to see she'd hit the door with some snow and was giving me a mean gesture. I went upstairs kind of frazzled and ended up calling the restaurant to let them know what happened and to please reimburse me for my tip. The manager I talked to was horrified and apologized and ended up returning my tip. He also offered a 20% off coupon for a future visit. We love this burger shop, so this poor experience isn't going to stop us from eating their food. I just am not going to get delivery from them again. Am I the jerk for ordering delivery from a restaurant a few blocks away? Is this some kind of unwritten rule of delivery that I didn't know about? Not the jerk. Like, that's a super easy and close delivery, and if anything, it being shorter makes it more lucrative on a tip-time ratio. I don't think the delivery driver was a high IQ individual. Seriously, that driver has no idea what OP's situation is either. She could be home alone and stuck with her 3 kids, unable to just go pick up her food easily. Definitely not the brightest person. Am I the jerk for not wanting to pay for my stepchildren's private school? I, 30 female, have 2 step-kiddos, both girls who are 9 and 11. They're from my husband's, 51 male, previous marriage. I've been in their lives for over 5 years and we are a happy unit. Husband shares custody 50-50 with his ex-wife, who I'll call Candy. When husband and Candy got a divorce, they agreed to keep the girls in a private Catholic school they had been attending since pre-K. Last year, Candy moved to a town 30 minutes away and insisted the girls go to a school closer to her home. We live in a major city, so traffic and construction add to this time depending on time of the day. Husband and I agreed, but insisted we discuss public school options as both kids are growing tired of Catholic school and have expressed repeated interest in public school. Candy brought up the divorce decree and demanded they go to the Catholic school close to her new house and offered to pay full tuition, over $12,000. We tried to tell Candy that we needed to agree on what's best for the girls, and since her new area has highly rated public schools, we will concede the location but insist on a public school or even staying at their old school for another year. She enrolled them in the new Catholic school anyway. Today, the school is asking parents for next year's tuition. Candy has asked us to pay for half. I said, how about none of us pay tuition and the girls go to public school like we discussed last year? Not maliciously or in front of the kids. Husband wants to pay up just to keep the peace, but I'm not interested in paying tuition for a school I don't like and the girls don't like. Am I the jerk? Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video. Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.